Hi everyone, I'm Dot Callahan. I'm a civil engineer and I began my career in the Air Force but then transitioned into the construction industry. Throughout my career, when I attended a meeting, I was the woman in the room. Today, I dedicate my time to sharing the lessons I learned about being a woman in the workplace with other women. Now, most of you probably assume that being a woman working in such male-dominated industries would put me at a huge disadvantage. It didn't. I actually found it pretty easy to outperform these guys and then leverage my performance to break through a lot of barriers and even shatter a few glass ceilings. Eventually, though, I did get to that point where I knew I wasn't working at my full potential, but I didn't know what else I needed to do to get there. I needed some career advice, but I didn't have any female mentors to talk to, so all I could do was go on the internet. Now let me tell you, it didn't take much reading for me to think, whoa, if this is the career advice women are getting, it's no wonder we aren't advancing. Most of what I read was motivational and inspirational, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it didn't give me any solutions. It didn't tell me what I was doing wrong or what else I needed to do in order to help my career. I also read plenty of articles that talked about how unfair the workplace is to women and how much discrimination there was. And these articles made me feel like I should just give up because I would never be allowed to reach my potential. Well, I ignored all those and I kept going on my quest looking for solutions. It took almost a year, but eventually I came across that one article that changed everything for me. This article was written by some women professors at one of those prestigious universities, and it talked about how women can get their voice heard in a room full of men, something I happen to know a bit about. Well, the article advised women to sit at the table so they could jump in the fray and compete against the guys to get their ideas across. After I read it, I kept thinking, no, that's not right. So I thought about how I always got my voice heard in a room full of men, and I realized I would never do what this article advised because I know it's a recipe for disaster. That's when I also realized that all this article was doing was it was regurgitating that same old bad advice women have been told for decades. If you want to be successful, then you need to act like a man. It was in that moment that I knew that the reason I'd always been successful in my career was because I knew how to leverage myself as a woman in a room full of men. I also realized that nothing I was reading was coming from women like me. It wasn't coming from women who could say, been there, dealt with that, now let me tell you what works. That's when I knew I needed to be a voice that spoke from real-world experience. So, I started this website. My message about women in the workplace is different because it's a message of true equality. It says that who I am as a woman is every bit as important and valuable to my workplace as who my male colleagues are as men. Contrary to what we are taught, all workplaces and all industries need female traits, female ways of thinking, and female ways of doing things in order to achieve superior performance. I want you to think of it this way. Our workplaces are full of men, and therefore they are very blue. As women, we introduce female or pink traits to the workplace. When we add our pink to their blue and have them work together, we transform our workplace. We make it purple. And it is only a purple workplace that can achieve superior performance. The reason I always outperformed all of my male colleagues was because I was the only one who could add the pink traits necessary to create a purple workplace. From my experience, I know that the biggest obstacle to our success and advancement, it isn't these guys. It's the fact that we're still caught up in a lot of old ideas about how the workplace functions and the value of men and women in it. Well, it's time to break free of those old ideas, get into the 21st century, and be women who recognize and assert our feminine value and equality in the workplace. I spent my career as the woman in the room, and that's a situation we can change. When we are proud to assert who we are as women, we will transform the woman in the room into the women in the room. Join the women who are making a difference by signing up for my newsletter, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and finding the Woman in the Room on Facebook.